and welcome to another edition of Systems Lab Live. Here we are, week 2 of Project Activation. The theme of today's live stream is vetting your project idea, or as I titled it on the Instagram live stream, who said you had a good idea? Who said that you had a good idea? Welcome to Project Activation Month. All month long, this is what we're doing. We are exploring what exactly does it mean to have a viable project that you can launch with a little more ease, right? We never say that a project is without its bumps and highs and lows and things of that nature. And so we're going back to the beginning. I wouldn't say the beginning, but we're really in this series of project essentials. Project essentials, and then the first theme is project activation. And we're really pulling from best practices on managing projects. We're also integrating and intertwining digital projects as well, the digital best practices and technology and things of that nature. And so while there are some principles that foundationally that are in the project management book, we're also taking some things, at least from my perspective, where I'm giving you my own sort of take on how I would approach certain things when it comes to managing of the services that you all have and the different initiatives that you're working on, the membership groups and things like that. And so at the Systems Lab Live, we tackle the everyday conversations all surrounding the work that you do. So it's all to support the work that you do. So we talk about the productivity trends that are going on right now. We do a lot of intersection between technology, productivity. We will also loop in policy when needed, right? When it's relevant, that's what I'm trying to say. And then we go into a lesson of the day based upon the theme. So we do have a jam-packed show because when I put out the notices, right, on the social media, I said that we had a few things to discuss. One was, can walking meetings be healthy? So that's one thing that we're going to talk about in the first segment of the show. I added a second topic, and this was on the potential TikTok ban, right? And then we're going to get into the case study of the month. We're talking about team productivity, team communication, and I'm excited about that because there's just a lot of conversation around it. There's a lot that I've been testing out, training, tweaking, doing different things, right? Helping to build out what does it mean to have best practices and effectively communicating the work on an everyday basis. And I love it because currently a new season of Conversations with Ask Ash is coming out very soon. And it's going to be all on the communication breakdown. 10 episodes, 10 fire episodes. As the host of The Bachelor, or the former one, because there's a new one, he would say, oh, no, they all say it. The saying goes, it's the most dramatic season yet. And so my tagline is, it's the most important season yet. This is the most important season yet. So it is all on the different lanes and themes and nuances and scenarios, all on communication, how we communicate with our clients, how we communicate with our colleagues, our coworkers, our team members, how we're communicating in terms of having the actual communication. What does it mean to have a communication plan? We talk about knowledge management, which is going to be a huge theme, and I'm going to be integrating that throughout the live show this year. The importance, especially if you're pulling up to Systems Lab Live for the very first time, you'll probably see on the YouTube channel that this particular live show the show itself is really dedicated for those project leaders and those project managers, those organizational leaders that are in charge of making sure that, all the things, whatever is under their particular purview, gets done. And so we're going to definitely talk about knowledge management and why it's so important that we have a centralized way in which we can go and pluck a project or two, or go back and do some analyzing without feeling as if, oh my gosh, somebody else has all of this information. What should I do? What should I do? For those of you that are logging on and just getting settled in, yeah, please let's chat about what you're doing, what you're working on this month or even this quarter. Let's talk about some of those things. What are you embarking upon this week? What are some of these things that you're working on, right? And so this is going to be a great live stream and a great month, because project activation is just that. What are these elements? What are these things that we're working on that we can get activated so that we can go into the right direction, in the right direction? So let's see. Okay, we're gonna go to Miro, but I am gonna pull up my notes. Winifred is in the house. She is on Instagram, writing by Winifred. So she is in the building. Let's see. I'm going to go and pull up my Miro board. Now, here's the funny story about this whole thing with the whiteboards. Okay. The online whiteboards. I'm a proponent of it. I believe in the whiteboards. Everyone should have them. It's just a thing. So I was on a live stream. No, I was not on a live stream. I was on a um webinar today. Systems over stress. Ashley Pendergraft. Okay. So she was going over her her show. No, so excuse me. She was going over her group coaching program. You can catch her live stream that I interviewed her. October 3rd, something like that, first week of October. So what's cool about Ashley is that she's zeroed in on Airtable. Okay, that's her bread and butter. Her specialty. She's built out this group coaching program. I love Airtable. I think it's a fantastic tool, right? And one of the things that we really, really like, that we share outside of the Airtable, is Whimsical. Whimsical is a fantastic whiteboarding tool platform. I've used it for years on end, probably 2018, 2019. I've been a part of the Whimsical fam. Now, however, this is where you kind of like, you got your friend, and then here you go, and now you want to try something new. So then Miro comes along, and because I'm someone that, this is a live show that is interactive and I want to show you things, man, let me tell you, I started getting real sophisticated with the presentation portion of this. And so really, I do still utilize Miro, right? Miro has tons of my boards from, like, I mean, it's like since 2019. So I don't even think I can give up Miro at this point. But what's so interesting is that she has an exercise that she does with her clients where she actually goes and takes the Zapier, I call them Zap flows. She goes and she actually breaks down what each of the steps are. So we have that love for Zapier. Now, what is one going to do? Because we have two whiteboarding tools, and do we actually need two whiteboarding tools? Probably not. However, there is a need. There is an absolute need for both. I wanted to test out Miro for, I think I said I was going to do it for one full quarter, which I have, because we are in month 5. And I was going to be like, make a decision. And the decision has been made. We are staying with Miro. But are we leaving, what is it? Are we leaving Whimsical? Probably not. So, decisions will be made. Decisions will be made. So let me go ahead and tell you, because again, I'm not huge into the app wars, folks. I'm not into the app wars. Why? Because I do believe that the app wars will get you in trouble, because everybody needs something um different, right? Everybody will need something different. And so I think it's important that each and every one of us, knows what we need and why we need what tools and whatnot. But I will say this: I like both of them, and you can test out either one. I will say that whimsical is a little bit more, I will say, user friendly. I will say you can get started quicker if you are not used to utilizing whiteboard tools and whatnot. So let's do this. I'm going to make sure. Okay. I'm going to press play on this thing. And I've taken a couple of it's almost like little mural classes. It's actually pretty great. It is actually pretty great. So let me for a minute present. What's going on, Anne? Okay, should I get right here? Okay, we're just gonna get right here for right now. All right, the January 9th edition, Systems Lab Live. What is on the agenda, dear people? A couple of items for show and tell with Ask Ash. And then, is this a good idea? What does it mean to actually vet your project ideas? Because how many of us know, that sometimes that we have a really great idea, but does that really mean that that's just the idea that you should go with? Because sometimes ideas evolve, and I think we have to make sure that we give ourselves the space that once we have an idea that we just take time to plant the idea, right? Nurture it, and making sure that we understand that good ideas vetting, exactly. So that's really important for us to understand. Sometimes we get a really great idea and then we just go and we start building that idea without vetting what's a good idea. And again, it's going to be subjective because I can't tell you what's a good idea or what's a bad idea. I can only give you some pointers and some things that I've picked up, some things that I've researched, and I want to kind of paint this picture for you all. But it's going to be good. It's going to be good. One thing I did want to talk about was an article I came across from Todoist. If anyone has ever been a part of the Todoist, like you've tried it out, which I have tried out the platform. I really like Todoist. If you're looking for a simple way to get started with, like, okay, I maybe can't, I'm new to all these project management tools, but I just need something that's simple, like grocery lists, like errands and things. Sure, go ahead and go to Todoist. Yeah, yuck, I tried it. Listen, they're not for the really highly experienced project leaders like ourselves. In they're, we're not, we're gonna always go into why ClickUp can be used for, personal, okay, right, productivity and things like that. Yeah, and you and Notion will always give the vibe of you can feel like you can do a project and not feel overwhelmed by features. They're always going to give that vibe because I think they're good at that. But I find that Todoist, for people who don't want to have a very uh like a heavy project, because I'm really big on project management tools being able to handle like complicated projects or projects that have layers, right? And Notion has not yet, not yet. And Todoist is just, they're just going to be they're going, what's the best word for that? Todoist is just going to be, it's going to be good and introductory. So I enjoy a lot of their articles, though. They have a lot of great productivity articles, right? So, can walking meetings improve your health? I like it because, since March, 2020, right? Most of us have been in front of the computer screen, or maybe we've always been. Some of you have already been a part of the, what is it, the laptop life, right? But listen, I think all of our productivity lifestyles have amplified, have changed. The rules have changed. We've changed. And so there's a really great article that I thought was pretty smart, which was talking about, can walking meetings lead to healthier lives? And I like this a lot because I believe that just because that you are a full-time entrepreneur, a part-time entrepreneur with a full-time job, or you just live a remote life, that you do not have to stay glued to the Zoom, the Google Meet, the WebEx, whatever it is that you have, and talk to people. I think that um, having walking meetings and being able to do that, not being stuck to a seat, can dramatically improve your health. Can dramatically improve your health. So I like it because the article talks about protecting your mental health. And I think that's really important. As we continue to do hybrid, and as we continue to do virtual retreats, or we're a remote team, but then we're going to meet in person, we're gonna go and, I don't know, go up to Boston, or gonna go down south, or wherever you're gonna go, and you're gonna be on vacation, but maybe you're gonna want to work for a couple of days. This aspect of designing your life is a huge thing. Like, now companies, they're not, companies have to start thinking, and even online business owners, you're having a fully remote staff. um you got to be thinking about how you can help create an environment, even if everyone is remote. How can you create a culture where people do not feel like they're chained to the laptop, right? And so definitely at the top of everybody's talking points, whether whoever you follow on social media, or your friends that you talk to, mental health is absolutely something that is one of the top, I don't know, top 5, top 3 conversation points within the past 3 years, right? This is something that everyone has been talking about, ways to improve your mental health, all these different things. And so I am also a big believer too in exercising as well. And this is what the walking meetings do as well. So it's, for me, I'm like, go ahead and take a break and walk around the block, or go walk your neighborhood. Or if you go for a 30-minute walk and then come back and then start your work. But having walking meetings, fantastic. I believe in them. I remember, well, I still do this to some degree. If I'm in the gym, I remember before, I didn't even think about this concept, but I remember saying to myself, "Man, I need to be in front of my laptop, mic'd up, ready to go, to like have calls, any type of call, right?" And it depends on which one. Sometimes things are better when you are stationary, just in case you need to share your screen, or do whatever. But I started actually taking some calls in the gym. I did. I was already in a space where I could do a little bit of talking. And it would be 15-minute meetings. It would not be, you know, 45. Well, I lied, because my mastermind group, we were meeting at like 6 o'clock in the morning. We're working on a great project. And yeah, I was talking to them from like 6 to 6:45. I was, but that's okay, because again, that's just our regular sort of cadence of how we go about things anyway. We will get up early. It doesn't matter. But for meetings, if you're having connection calls, if you're catching up with folks, yeah, I think if you're walking the dog, I believe you can take a call. And I think you should do it. I think you should be in a place and space, as long as it's not like super windy, because that can get kind of weird because you can't hear people. But I believe that if you go on a walk, go for 15 to 20 minutes, I think that is something that is honestly going to help you also think better. That's kind of where I kind of go with that piece of it. I want to read a few quotes too from this. So the Todoist blog is called blog.doist.com. And It's called Welcome to Twist Future of Work series, where they're chatting up with other remote work leaders from organizations who are supporting the future of work. Each month will highlight a company that's providing a product or service to support distributed teams, asynchronous communication, work from anywhere, and a more mindful approach to do work. Again, this is why we have the show and tell, because this is the everyday work piece, people. This is everyday work. The key one of the key takeaways is said the way we're working is wreaking havoc on our physical and mental health. Zoom fatigue zaps our energy. The average person is only active 20 minutes per day. We spend more time sitting than we spend sleeping. Okay? Curious about incorporating walking meetings into your workday? Greg recommends starting with more informal one-on-one or small group calls with coworkers you feel comfortable with and build from there. Now, one thing I think is really important to note here is that you should have the technology to do this. It's a little bit obvious, but sometimes people don't think about like what tools do I need to do walking meetings, right? And obviously you would just have your handy dandy phone, right? Your handy dandy phone. You would have someone either could actually call you like call you like this. I don't know why am I doing this? You know what I'm talking about. Call you on the phone, like actually dial your number and give you a call. That's one way. Two is that you have all the apps in the world, like I do. Shout out to me. I have all the apps in the world. You have Zoom, I have Google Chat. Okay, because there's been some rebranding. Do you all know this? There's been some rebranding with Google Meet. Hold on. Wait a minute. I probably got this wrong. Something I think I get this confused because oh, wait a minute. I get this confused because um they told me in the app store that I need to delete something. Mm. So therefore I get slightly confused. Well, no, there is Google Meet. You can meet with Google Meet. Is it Google Meet? Let me see, retired. What retired? Google Meet gets live. Google wants a single. Yeah, is it Hangouts? I think it's Hangouts. I think it's Hangouts. Yeah. But anyway, Google, the Google app, that's what we'll call it. Zoom. I think I did delete WebEx, but I didn't have it. But addressing Zoom fatigue. So, something to really think about when you're doing walking meetings is understanding that we're all zoomed out. Um sometimes we do not want to um put our camera on. Maybe we have been on the camera all day, okay? And we just don't want to go about putting our face on. Some people just don't feel like it, right? And I think there's a balance to showing your face. I think showing your face, honestly, in a remote hybrid space, I think it's helpful. Number one, people get to know you, facial expressions. I do believe that. Should you require it on every single meeting, all throughout all your meetings? No, I don't believe so. I do also believe too that you should only meet when you need to meet, but that goes into the next segment of the show. I don't think you should be calling meetings just to call meetings. I think that you can use other tools like Slack, like the Volley app, which I'm using right now. Because I'm involved in other organizations, sometimes people will ask me questions and want to meet, but then our schedules can't sync. So I will send them a Volley link. They can ask me the question. It's async, it's a recorded video, boom, and then they get back to me. simple, and I get back to them. And it literally takes and I did this with somebody else. I mean, we just volleyed for a good old minute or two. Like we swapped maybe like 4 or 5 videos, and she was all like, "Great, this is off the chain." You know what I mean? Like, you've answered my question. So this was really fun. So it was really good. So when we think about, can walking meetings improve your health? Yes, it can. You want to get up and you want to move, right? That helps the blood flow, that helps your brain to actually think better. Absolutely. I'm going to go look to see if there's any more points I wanted to make, because I highlighted some things. And I know Anne mentioned Notion. I'm going to tell you this right here. I'm going to share this tab. One of the things that I do is I save articles all day long, and then I tag them. I'll tag an article in a minute. And so what I did right here is I actually went and highlighted. I like went through the article and I was like, okay, well, what do I actually want to say? So where is this little thing here? Okay. And can I get rid of this? No? Maybe? Oh, full width. Ooh, almost a little sneezies. Okay. Yeah, you see right here, the average person, you can like highlight things, and so that makes it super super easy. So I don't think I have anything else that I want to say. um Oh, okay. Well, Greg says, so walking is such a magical behavior, and walking is what I think the best use case of what can be done if you're not on a video call, trapped and sitting at your desk. Number one, if you're active, you get your steps and heart rate going. But more importantly, the act of walking, it puts you in a sense of flow. If you get engaged in the conversation, it helps stimulate focus and it helps creativity. This is good. I think this is great. I'm I am team walk during your meetings. Like, let's find a way that we can walk during our meetings. Um Very good. Okay, let's get back to it. I'm going to get back to what we're doing. So we have that. So I hope that that was very helpful and useful, people. A couple of things as we are moving through the agenda. I did want to tell you, let me tell you, we are doing something new within the show. We're going to be doing a case study. So we're gonna have a case study of the month. All right. So welcome to the first of 4 case studies. They build on top of each other. All right. Here we go. Case studies on team communication. No, here's the theory. Here's the deal, folks. You can never say that you can learn enough about communication. Like, you can never say I'm an expert communicator. Maybe some can if they've studied it, if they've, teach and train, if they have a business on it. But even then, you're still learning something. Mm? Okay. So, case study, team communication. We outlined last week 4 areas, and we're going to break down each of the areas. The first, and this is where I believe we should begin, not the app, not the app that says, okay, where can we communicate, da 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 da, all these other good stuff. What should you communicate about? These are often the questions that need to be asked. Okay. These are often the questions that need to be asked. What should you communicate about? And I'm going to go, let me just pull up these notes as well. Oh, that's right. I did have the other case study, but that's okay. Excuse me, the other article, but we can talk about that at the end. Okay. So here's what I want to say. Determine what you want to communicate about. Yep. That's it. So it's important to decide what you need to communicate, because not everybody needs to know everything, number one. You also should remember that we have different leadership styles and different ways to communicate. Okay, very important point. If you know about the DISC assessment, it's a tool that you use to essentially communicate to others, hey, this is how I work. This is not, it's not who you are. This is my preferred style of learning, my preferred behavior. And they have a section on your communication style. Absolutely. Now, one thing that I picked up from one of the teams that I've worked on is there was a question of, we like to manage our CEO's energy. Okay. So the PM goes, so therefore I'm filtering communication. I'm filtering what types of meetings the CEO needs to be involved in. Why? Because again, we're protecting the energy. Also, pulling in certain people for different meetings means that not everybody needs to know everything. Super smart. So good. Love it. Because when we're talking about meeting culture, we're talking about eliminating unnecessary meetings. And I just had had that conversation. You know, how can we? That's listen. I love a good verbiage. I love a good, let's rephrase it so that we are talking the same and we're on the same page. So one approach could be, hey, we're meeting too much. I love it. But I always like to set us up for success where we can discuss what the solution is. So I'll say, how can we be able to collaborate best without meeting a whole lot? Mhm. Okay. So therefore we kind of get into, what do we need to communicate about? All right. And this type of conversation can be pretty simple or it can be a little complex, just in case you know, it all just depends, but this could really be a really great topic for a staff meeting, a team meeting. What should we be communicating about? Let's whiteboard it out. As a CEO, you should want to know un poquito amount of information on a day-to-day basis in terms of the details. Unless you are a detailed type of person, you just want to know everything, which I'm pretty sure you're not, because you're focusing on other things. So your bandwidth and your capacity is already limited. So it could mean that you are only in Slack, you are only involved in X amount of types of communication. Okay. So communication styles, two things to point out. We just talked about it. Learning people's communication styles. Definitely, I vote for number one, doing some type of assessment, DISC or Strength Finders. Shout out to Juan Alvarado. Understanding who needs to be pulled into a conversation, with the understanding that not everybody needs to know everything all the time. So knowing how to filter the communication, just things to think about. And also, like, this is so great for service providers, right? And those that you're providing services for. So crucial, right? So crucial. Async communication versus live video calls. Do you know, what's the best type of communication for async and for video calls? So for async communication, boy oh boy, did we have a time with that topic. I tell you, async communication. We've talked about that. Now that is an upcoming topic on the podcast. Okay. The async communication isn't time bound like we were when we were in the office, or our expectations when it was, when things weren't the way that they were, right? So async communication allows people to work and also balance out the deadlines and not feel the need to have the urgent right away communication. You need it right now, and here you go. So it balances all of those things out. It allows someone who lives in LA to have their LA schedule, but also be accountable to me, who's on the East Coast, that may need feedback by a certain time period, right? So it's a great to have a read and react situation, a read and response situation, and that's where async can come in. That is where async can absolutely come in. So projects and tasks, feedback on ideas, client updates, company updates, fun water cooler conversation, just like random jokes. You can certainly set that up into one of my favorite apps, which is Slack. I'm about to go for that third badge. You heard? That third badge, you heard? Okay. I'm all about these little badges. I guess they're like I guess this is like gamification, like overload. I just love it. They have a badge called Digital HQ. I'm telling you, it's going to be exciting. I'm very excited about that. Okay. Async. Okay. When to use video calls. Okay. You're not going to just eliminate Zoom forever and ever unless you have a really sophisticated like organization and communication style. Okay. Unless you have a really sophisticated culture. Strategy. Decisions that need more insight and information. Project risks. Ooh, I love talking about a good old project risk. What's at risk? What could derail something? What could actually send it down and it could burn up? Okay. Love talking about a good old risk. It's exciting to me. Reviewing a project schedule. I love it. That's something I am currently doing. Review a project schedule, and you want to just be able to put a bit of strategy, right? I record a whole lot of Loom videos. And we're gonna talk about apps in another week or so. But listen. Let me tell you something. I love a good loom.com. In the notes, you can click on that link. Doo-doo-doo. There is a whole bunch of affiliate links, just so you know, FY to the I. But Loom, I love me some Loom. I think Loom is great. I like it. You can record, and I love that you can do a little audio Loom. Okay, because it bypasses the whole video thing as well. Now, I did mention Volley, so you got to kind of think about what these tools are going to be really good to use for. Me, I think that Volley's great for that team building, communication, that type of thing. Loom is great for great project feedback. You don't have to meet. Okay. You can just record a Loom and call it a day and get a response. People can type feedback. It's fantastic. You can use Loom for everything. All right. So, how does this feel, folks? How have we Tell me something in the comments. What are we feeling about team communication? Do we feel as though we understand what's happening with the team communication piece? Have you thought about some of the ways that you can revamp your communication strategy? Let me know. I'd love to know. I'd love to know. I caught guess what, guys? I also caught a little saucy comment I had to block. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? Saucy comments are us, not I. We're just pulling up to organization station, folks. Why should we have saucy comments on organization? These are the things that Ashley Schuler would like to know. Okay, these are the things that I'd like to know. Now, where do we go from here? Boop, boop, boop. We're going to go into the main event, people. Let's go to the main event. The main event. You got to check out the latest IG reel on Otis Redding. Otis Redding style. Now, if you were here last week, I said I said a chain. chain, I think I no, I said a chain. What was I saying? A chain, something I was seeing a chain, and I forgot what it was, but it was like I was mixing Aretha and Otis Redding. I don't know, but it was funny. I chuckled at myself. Otis Redding style. That's what the IG reel is called. Otis Redding style, and it is a change is going to come, and that's the reason why you create a project, because a change come. It has come. A business vetting your project idea. What's going on, Total Life Change Marie? I hope you're doing very well. Also, quick shout out to I am Shakira Cade. Great to see you. I didn't get to do a shout out. And then Garcia Gaither, also Instagram, Instagram fam bunch. Okay. Um, vetting your project idea. Okay. I think, this is, again, something that is very important that we talk about. Oftentimes we have what, people? The biggest and best idea. Nobody can tell you nothing. Okay. Nobody can tell you nothing. Right. And so the great ideas, the great ideas are the ones that are developed, right? Not just the good ideas. We're talking about the great ideas. Now, this particular segment and these tips are really just to help you to solidify or help you go back and think about some things and say, maybe I need to go back into the lab. You know what I mean? And so, one thing we should look out for when we're vetting a project idea, because we all had it, right? I want to do this. And I tell you what, I write down all the ideas, right? And I had to get into a habit of just letting any type of thought I have it in what I call Ashley's Notes Lab. And I think I actually renamed it to Ashley's ecosystem of just notes. Now, some of them are actually like notes that I take because I am doing some studying, notes that I'm taking because, I might be at a conference, but there is a space for all the things. All the things. And so what it does is that it actually helps me to not think about, oh gosh, I have this idea. What should I do with it? It actually helps me to say, here's the idea. I'm going to write it down, and then I'm going to ask myself some particular questions. But I want to dive into these four areas, and then I want to get into some more prescriptive questions as well. Strategic alignment. Shout out to Sourcing the City. What's going on? Um, so strategic alignment. Here's what I know to be true. We Project management, what it does, and the projects help to bring about strategic alignment in your business. All right. Many of us have had an idea and we've ran with it, but it does not have any alignment based upon where we are with our brand or business. True or false? It's true. I didn't even give you any whatevers. It's true. Um, Listen, it's not about like, oh, this is a bad idea or a wrong idea or you made a mistake. This is really about making sure that your idea can have legs so it can grow and it can actually take off. Huh? So, strategic alignment. And that's what project management brings, right? And what I mean by that is that project management helps to bring about the strategic alignment piece because you're able to properly vet once you have a process in place of how you go about selecting projects, how you go about, starting and working the project, completing and executing, and all these different types of things, right? It can help with the strategic alignment within your business, right? Uh, research. Research is important. Why? Because someone may have actually executed on your idea. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, but find out what's the what. Find out has this been done before? And find out what's behind the idea. Like, you have the idea, but find out, like, what's the motivation behind it? What's the what? Okay. And then what are the solutions? Now, some of you may be thinking, Ashley, I don't understand what you mean. What's the what? I'm saying when you have an idea, and let's give a concrete example. Shout out to the events industry. So let's say there is an idea. The idea is this: we're going to have an in-person event. And what we're going to be doing is, it's not going to be, again, you're saying to yourself, this is not going to be like the rest, right? This ain't going to be like the rest. Okay. This is going to be an event of all ages. It's going to be destination. We're going to have workshop, and this is what we're going to do, right? So research shows that you are looking at some of the nuanced aspects of your idea. It's not that a virtual event or a hybrid event or an in-person or destination retreat or whatever hasn't been done. But especially when you're talking about putting on an event, you're talking about a solution. You're solving for X. You're solving for something. You're not just like, I'm just going to have this retreat. I'm just going to, have people just buy a ticket and come on down. Come on, even come on in the room. Come on in the, like, you're not just like telling people, you're not like on platforms like this talking about come on in the room. Like, you are going to be designing an experience. So research is where some of these things come in. You might even have a particular requirement, and we're gonna get into that these last 3 weeks. Oh, I can't wait when we're gonna be getting into like the building blocks of like diving into the idea that you are going to launch and that you're working on. It's going to be beautiful when we talk about scope and requirements, because it's just beautiful. So you might have an idea of like, and then you're like, this has to happen at the event. And I don't know, maybe it's something, out of this world. Maybe it's something that you want to introduce, like some sort of technology. Maybe it's like chat GPT live. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you want to do something and you just want to do something really cool. So you would want to go and research, has this been done? How can you do this idea? That brings me into resources. Um, what is that? Okay, what's that song? Um, she gives me money. What is it? When we had Ray, Jamie Foxx, man, and he had the Gold Digger song. I'm Man, I just feel like I'm butchering lyrics. I feel like I need some sort of help, like a co-host that can just give me the lyrics. But remember that she gave me money or something like that. And so that's what I think about. Resources. I think about the Mean Green. Shout out to the OJs. I think about that mean green, right? I think it's important. I think the money is important. Why? Now, listen, as Tim Ross, I'm a basement dweller, as as he said, you don't have to have actually money. You don't have to have resources to start. He goes, that's actually an advantage. Now, I'm gonna agree with you right there. I believe there you go. I got a woman. See, Mark is here for all of the to help me out. You know what I'm saying? See, it's been so long since Jamie has had, some music. I just be forgetting. Okay. So here we go. Resources. I believe that you do not have to have everything in place to start. Okay? When you're vetting the when you're vetting the project idea, you need to have money at some point in time. Now, whether you have money on day 1 or day 15, that's going to be up to you, or day 23 or day 50. That's going to be up to you now. But you're going to have money, especially if we're going into our event planning and our event example. you need money to make something work, especially if you are planning in an event, a destination mastermind, whatever you want to call it, a retreat. You must have the money, and money for resources, money for marketing, money for technology, all these things. Okay, and then lastly, the end result. The end result. This is what's really, going to make you think. Now, this is not to say that you have to have like a tangible thing. Like a thing that you can hold, like a thing that you can just cross off the list. The end result is really outcomes focused. Is really if you are having a destination mastermind event retreat, you as a visionary should be thinking, hey, as the end result, what exactly am I looking for? And that's how you start to look at the lens through the lens of this valid project idea that you're going to be vetting. That's, you need to start looking at this from that particular lens, right? The end result, the outcome. It could be the experience that you want the attendees to have. You're gonna have to have this stuff written down and very, very clear. All right. So 4 things: strategic alignment, research, resources, end result. Here's what I'm loving these questions right here. So this article is by a company called Hives. Man, I thought all of these questions were super, super valid. Let me zoom in because I know I can't see all that much. All right, cool. How wanted is this idea? Is there a group that desires this solution, and does it have a problem? Now, the source of this article was basing it off of like an innovative product, which is not that far off from what any of you are working on right now. But I think this is really important for us to really understand how wanted is this idea. How many of us have thought of an idea? It's just because we wanted it. Remember last week when we were listing like 7 to 8 things about why we're starting a project? At the bottom was because I wanted to. But how wanted is this idea? Is there a group that desires this solution, and does it solve a problem? For those that are in the creators economy, and again, we're gonna start intersecting worlds a lot on this show. So when we start thinking about those that are in the creators economy looking to create experiences with people, especially if you're podcasting, especially if you are a brand that has a community and you have some sort of product or service or what have you, you want to start asking yourself, especially when you have people that are in your community, how wanted is this particular idea that you want to launch? Does it actually solve a solution? I'm telling you, powerful questions. I'm keeping this in the back pocket of mine. Feasibility. Somebody has to stay with me on this one. How possible would you say this idea is to make into a reality? This is why we gonna get into this the next 3 weeks, because we need to go in on talking about skills, technology, people, resources. We're going in on this topic because it's so important. It is so very important. How possible would you say this idea is to make a reality? Can you actually make this a reality? And so this is what we have to do in terms of the planning, in terms of the organizing. And we may listen, you may not have the answers to it. You may not have it. So that's why you got to go phone a friend. Phone the right friend. You can't phone everybody because not everybody has the answers to it. And then you start, calling folks, and then they start adding stuff on and then taking it and remixing it. And that's a whole other different type of live stream. But you need to make sure that this idea can become a reality. And also, too, can we talk about how you have to make time for your idea? Ain't nobody talking about that. You got to make time for the particular idea. Because again, when we go into viability, we're looking at this. Are you going to be committed in the long run? Are you going to be committed to this idea that's going to be turned into the reality? Are you? And that's okay for you to say, you know what? I thought I had time for it. I thought this was a good idea, but maybe the timing is off. Deep, right? But we're not into this is not a race to the top. This isn't like a race to okay, I did it and I finished. This is really about, again, we go back to the beginning of what I was saying, which is this is really about how we can build our programs, our projects, our initiatives so that we can be able to do it the right way, number 1, have the right foundation, number 2, number 3, how do we go about scaling impact and also preventing burnout and reducing the amount of time, unnecessary time that we spend sometimes on ideas that aren't in alignment. All right, viability. How strong is this idea over time? It has to have a foundation. Does it contain both economical and sustainable model to maintain? What's that foundation look like? Again, are you going to have all of the answers in one setting? No. But I challenge you, as you have these project ideas, this idea that you have in your head, the thing that you're called to do, the thing that makes sense for your brand, for your business, for your organization, and start to put some stuff on paper, digital preferably. No, pen and paper squad, what up? Start to put stuff down on a piece of paper, write down, research, bring people into the fold. Bring people into the fold and be able to talk about this desirability, this feasibility, the viability. Again, good questions to ask. And then 2, you're doing your research. You're seeing how this is aligned strategically, right? All of these things, the resources, the end result. I'm telling you, this is about to be this right here. This is where the replay comes in. This is where the severe, not severe. This is where the intense note taking comes in. I'm gonna say intense. I want y'all to be intense about it and going back and writing your notes on this because this is good. All right, y'all. Where we at right now? We got one more. All right. So here's what I want you to do. Next steps. I'm all about these next steps. Tangible next steps. Number 1, define your scope. We're going to be talking more about that next week. But basically, what are you doing and what you're not going to do? Perform your research and also too, strategic alignment. Make sure you're in alignment. This is in no particular order. This is just 1, 2, and 3. That's it. We did it, y'all. We did it. This is good. I'm telling you, this is some good stuff right here. This is some good stuff. What do you do next, folks? What do you do next? Well, you do a couple things. Text #live to 626-722-5444. You'll get automated message from me. I'll say hi and then I'll text you. I'll be like, hey, how you doing? That's what'll happen there. What's going on, Young Entrepreneur Marketplace? What's going on? What's going on, Ms. Rand? And look at Jay Mitch, always in the building. Always in the building. Always good to see you as well. And okay, we're going to be in Miami if you are around in real life. Brandon Cawley. Well, Lord, am I going to Miami? Did someone give me an invitation? My goodness. Well, thank you, Brandon. I'm a check out your profile. So I love to see it. So text live to 626. This is just really just text message community. We're building offline. Y'all know how it goes. And you'll just be a part of the community and all the things that go on. Inside of also the notes too, you'll also see some affiliate links. You can check some things out as well. And also too, if any of this resonates with you, if you have projects that you're working on, especially if those of you watching the replay, you want to grab a session with me, I'd love to sit down with you, talk to you about your project, your strategy, and how to have next steps and go forward. So that's all I got. It's Monday, January 9th. Super blessed. It is the second Monday of January, and we'll be back next week. Thank you so much. And I'll see y'all around. I'll see y'all around. I'll see you in these digital streets. And take care and have a great week. Bye.